guys, it's Margie, and today I'm doing a movie review of the 2012 film Wreck-It Ralph. This film has a lot of people in it, so hang on just a mo. We've got John C. Reilly, Jack McBrayer, Jane Lynch, Sarah Silverman, Alan Tudyk, Mindy Kaling, Joe Traglio, Ed O'Neill, Dennis Haysbert, Eddie McClurg, Raymond S. Persy, Jess Harnell, Rachel Harris, Skylar Astin, Adam Carolla, Horatio Sanz, and Maurice Larramachi. It was directed and written by Rich Moore, also written by Phil Johnson and Jim Reardon, produced by John Lasseter, which, as many of you know, is the mastermind behind all the Toy Stories, and he does everything Disney, Pixar, animation, that kind of thing, so he's great. Clark Spencer, Monica Lego Cadis, also produced, edited by Tim Mertens, and music by Henry Jackman. Okay guys, so the basic plot for this film is that Wreck-It Ralph, voiced by John C. Reilly, is in a video game, and he is tired of being the bad guy who always wrecks everything, so he decides to essentially swap games. But the reason he swaps games is because he makes a deal with the people from his video game that if he can win a medal, then they'll pretty much be nice to him and treat him as an equal. So this is his mission, to win a medal and bring that medal home, and some funny incidences and that kind of thing happen along the way. Okay, so I'm going to talk real briefly about a few of the major performances because it's animation, and yes, you can be absolutely terrible with an animated voice. That's why I'm just going to touch on these really quickly. John C. Reilly, I thought was good. I felt like he could have had a little more emotion in his voice and a few more of the emotional scenes. And as many of you know, when the animators are making characters, a lot of times they will use the actors that's voicing them, like facial expressions and gestures and that kind of thing, to help flesh out the character. And I don't know that he gave them too much to work with, because I felt honestly like even the character of Wreck-It Ralph should have been a little more emotional in his scenes, and that's animators and John C. Reilly. So yeah, but like everything else was great, and I'm just being nitpicky. I'm just used to, you know, when like animated, there's so many great animated films that you're just like, the character is really sweet and he's really emotional and yada yada, and Wreck-It Ralph didn't quite get there in his emotional scenes. Everything else was great though. I'm being nitpicky. Moving on, Jack McBrayer, Jane Lynch, great. Sarah Silverman, I felt like got a little bit annoying to me, but her character was a little bit annoying, but I don't know, the voice was good, and it was appropriate considering the character. I thought she did well, but I felt like her character was a little annoying, so yeah. Everybody else that I previously mentioned was great. I'm mentioning, saving out two people. Jess Harnell, first of all, is the voice for pretty much everything good, and he has such a great voice, and he was great in this movie. So enjoyed him, and he has like just a little minor role, but if you get a chance, IMDb Jess Harnell, because he is literally voiced, he voiced stuff for Up, he voiced stuff for, I mean, he's voiced everything. He has such a great voice, and he can do so many things with it, so great job by him. That's one of the reasons I was so excited to see this film, so great job. And Alan Tudyk, I hope I'm saying that last name right. He was also in a film that I've previously done a review of, 28 Days, with Sandra Bullock. But Alan Tudyk, I felt like, made this movie pretty much. I mean, he was so good. His voice and everything, he plays King Candy, and his voice is just so good. And I was watching this movie with one of my friends, and I said, doesn't Alan Tudyk's voice sound exactly like Ed Wynn talking? And I was just, Ed Wynn was in Mary Poppins, as many of you know, and I was like, that is so great. And it was just almost copycat, but he did it his own way, and I just absolutely loved Alan Tudyk. I thought there wasn't anything else he could have done. I loved what he did with the character, the voices, everything. Great, great, great. could have not have been a better voice for me or a better performance. So I think Alan Tudyk kind of stole the show here a little bit, and I thought he did a great job. Let's move on to some directing and writing and editing and music and all of that. Well, let's jump into this music first. I thought the music was good, but I felt like a couple of the scenes lacked a little bit. It's not one of my favorite scores, but it was solid for the movie. The editing was good, I thought. It didn't get too draggy. There was a couple places where I was like, man, this has been going on forever. But, yeah, on the whole, the editing was great. Obviously, John Lasseter, who was one of the producers, knows exactly what he's doing, so I had really high expectations for this movie, and they were met. Directing was good. It was, and I can't judge the directing and all of that because it's animation as I would a regular film, so I thought the directing was good. The writing was pretty good, but I felt like they made Sarah Silverman's character just a little bit too annoying. And I know she's supposed to be kind of annoying, but then you should kind of love her. And I never really got to the point where I really loved her. I was just still pretty much annoyed at her throughout the whole film. But, you know, again, I thought the concept was great. The dialogue writing was a little weak in places. But then again, you're writing for children. I mean, this is a children's film, so I'm giving everybody passes on this film because it's animation, you know. Getting to that animation, I don't think it could have been any better. The visuals for this were great. I mean, part of the scenes happen in this video game I think it's called Sugarland, and oh my goodness, what visuals. I mean, everything is so vibrant and bright and just gorgeous. And back to the writing a little bit, I loved how they referenced the older video games and just everything. I thought all of that could not have been any better. Again, got to give it to Rich Moore for all of that and the directing. So I thought they used everything they possibly could to do with video games almost to the fullest extent. There was a couple games I was like, come on, these should have been in here. But then again, you don't know if they could have got the rights and yada yada. So, great. And that's just my personal taste too. Great, great, great job on the animation. As you know, this was nominated for Best Animated Film at the Oscars. I have not seen Brave, so I can't tell you whether it should have won or not. However, I have heard several of my fellow film critics on YouTube and everywhere else say that it should have won hands down. Again, I can't comment on that because I haven't seen Brave, but, you know, that's what they say. Parents Guide, you don't have a thing to worry about on this one, parents. There's no language, really, no sexual content, except for some like tight-fitting apparel, which is not really a concern. Violence and gore, not really any. Couple suspenseful moments the kids might think are a little intense, but not really any. And drug and alcohol, none. But I did want to just say, for the language, there's not any language, but for the kids, you know, there's like stupid, idiot, you know, stink brain, yada yada, that kind of thing. There's a lot of name calling. So if that bothers you for your children, then just be aware of that. Whatever. It didn't bother me. So, yeah. But anyway, I thought this film was great on the whole, guys. I really enjoyed it. It's not one of my favorite animated films. I've seen a lot better animated film, but again, the visuals were so great. And I thought a lot of the acting was good. I mean, it's a good film. It's worth a one-time watch. But I don't know if I'd watch it again. I'm giving this film 3.5 stars out of 5 just because, you know, in the scale of animation, it wasn't one of my favorites, but I don't know what to really fault it with other than I didn't fall in love with the characters personally. Most of them. A couple of them I really loved, but most of them I was just kind of like, eh. So, yeah, I know. So that's why I'm not giving it its higher reviews. However, out of animation and that kind of thing, it couldn't have been any better. I mean, the animation was great. Obviously, it's John Lasseter that produced it, and he does great work. But would I watch it again? I'm going to say probably no, because there are so many other animated films that I would rather watch. And for those of you that have done, you know, the Disney tag and all that kind of stuff, I'm planning to do that hopefully within the next year. I know that's a long time away, but I have such a hard time making decisions, so that's why I'm not telling you what I'd rather watch over Wreck-It Ralph, because I'm going to save like all my favorite animated films and do like a countdown to #1 or something, like top 10, you know, favorite animated films. So I'll save all that for that, which will hopefully happen, like I said, within the next year. And I know that seems like a really long time, but I cannot make choices, guys. I just hate making choices, like a lot of good choices. I just freeze up. I hate it. I'm like, no, this is so bad. I know. But anyway, I would probably not watch this one again, but it's worth a one-time watch. I think you should see it just so you can say you've seen it. And it's so funny. I did just want to mention this. This is kind of on a personal note, too. So I guess the technical review is over. So this has been my review of Wreck-It Ralph. But on a little personal note, I was actually in a theater watching a different movie, and the trailer for this one came out. And I was like, I leaned over to the person next to me, and I was like, oh, I kind of want to see that movie. That looks like it would be, you know, a good animated film. And they just kind of smirked at me, you know. And I was like, okay. And then, obviously, when the Academy Award nominations came out in, you know, November and all that, I was just like, thank you. I have taste, etc. You know, like, it was a good film. It's worth a watch, just to be knowledgeable, just to see great animation, etc., etc. I mean, I would recommend this film, especially to the film critics, because it's one you need to see and get it in your repertoire and all that kind of stuff. So, anyway, guys, yes, it's definitely a fun film for the kiddos, and I think they'll enjoy it. So, nothing you got to worry about, parents. And I think it's a family film. I think you'll enjoy it. Anyway, guys, this has been my review of the 2012 film Wreck-It Ralph. I hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.